Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel in partnership with sharpbetting.co.uk. I'm delighted as always to be joined by Paul, and we're here reacting to what we've just seen from the Co-op Arena in Manchester, England, as Arnold Barboza Jr. has handed Jack Catterall the second defeat of his professional career by a very close split decision to leave himself on the verge of a huge world title fight, you'd imagine. Paul, first of all, hope you're well. Let's jump straight into things. How did you have that one? Very close, very kind of. A lot of people might say it'd be have issue with the score. What did you think of the fight, and who did you have winning that?
Yeah, thanks for having me on as always, mate. I think it took a while to catch fire, first and foremost, the fight. I will say that. Also, I'm gonna give Barbosa his flowers. I didn't give him a chance at all, to be honest. I was maybe judging that off the Sean McComb fight, where he got outboxed, albeit got handed a hometown decision, but I thought he was brilliant there. I thought he was doing enough to nick rounds. Whether or not I thought he was actually going to win them in the judges' eyes, with it being in Manchester, kind of hate mentioning that, but I think he was good value for it. I think at the end of 12, like if you had have said to me, "Oh, I've got it 7-5 Barbosa," I would have said, "Yeah, I can see that." If you had instead of said, "I've got it 7-5 Catterall," you probably could make an argument as well. I genuinely had it a draw, um, but I think it's one of them where I have it a draw, but I'm leaning more towards Barbosa. So in my eyes, I actually do think that the right man has won there. Controversial decision, obviously, but I do think that he was just doing enough. I think right at the end in commentary, both Barry Jones and Sonny Edwards said that they just got the feeling that Barbosa had done enough. Um, and yeah, give me all credit to him because Jack Catterall has been superb, especially of late, and like fighting on away soil. Could have taken an easier fight on home soil on one of Oscar De La Hoya's shows tonight as well. And yeah, massive fair play to Arnold Barbosa. He definitely surprised me, and I'd say he surprised quite a lot of people.
Yeah, I have to agree. As you say, and we're not being kind of biased here with the Sean McComb fight, the residual kind of anger of that fight with Barboza. But I didn't give Barboza a massive chance here either, to be honest with you. But I haven't been hugely impressed with Barboza throughout his career anyway. The Sean McComb fight, there's no real shame in looking how he did that night. Sean McComb would have kind of done that to most. He would have been a nightmare to fight for anybody. So, there's no shame in that. But he didn't really impress me, as you say, as much as he did tonight. And with how good Catterall's looked, I think, I just thought Catterall had it. It was Catterall's fight to lose, but yeah, credit to Barbosa. I think his hand speed was very impressive tonight. He set a good pace. Catterall, we know, likes to kind of dictate the pace of the fights. He's not very exciting to watch. But he is technically very skilled, and he sets his own pace. But Barbosa didn't really let him kind of settle into that for the 12 rounds. So I had it 7-5 Barbosa myself, so I can't complain. But as you say, if I had been announced a draw, I couldn't have really argued with that either. Very, very close rounds to score, in my opinion. And as you say, I'm so surprised to see in Manchester that Barbosa got that close decision, that split decision. So absolute credit to him. Let's talk about Jack Catterall. You have to feel for him, don't you, really? So close to a world title. Should have been the undisputed world champion. Should have probably been fighting for a world title tonight, to be honest with you. But it was just, he fell at the final hurdle, as the saying goes. He really did. We'll do a video on the channel discussing this in more kind of detail. But how do you see kind of Catterall bouncing back from this? Do you think maybe a move up in weight now would be a way to go for Jack Catterall?
Yeah, mate, it's an interesting one. You do feel for Jack Catterall. He should have been undisputed a long time ago, but we'll not. That's it. We've dissected that to the nth degree, so we don't need to go over it again. But like, you do feel for him. You think, I still think there's still super lightweights he can beat, in my opinion, at world level. In saying that, I don't know whether maybe we were just not giving on Ronald Barbosa. Maybe we were just UK bias, being watching Catterall more and knowing more about him. Well, I don't know. Maybe we just completely underestimated Barbosa, but I do still think he has the goods to become world champion at 140. Um, but then it's maybe going to have to bide his time again. and would have moved to welterweight suit him. He's a big enough super lightweight. I thought Barbosa looked a lot bigger tonight, to be honest. On the night, I thought Barbosa's frame looked a lot bigger than Catterall, kind of dwarfed him a little bit. But that Catterall's big enough as well. I think he doesn't struggle with the weight, but like I don't think it's too comfortable for him either. So I could see a move to welterweight. I wonder. I mean, I'm just throwing this out there because it's just come to my head. Like, I wonder would they do a Josh Taylor trilogy at welterweight? Um, just because Josh Taylor is obviously it's one apiece technically, even though it should be 2-0 Catterall. But people might have said that the reason the Catterall beat Taylor was because of the weight. So maybe a Josh Taylor who fights well at 147 if he looks good against Echo Westerman, that is. Is there a trilogy there? Maybe who knows? You'd like to think that the winner of that fight would then get a world title shot at 147, but that's completely down the line. I mean, I think he can still win a world title at 140. I mean, if I was Team Jack Catterall, if I was Jamie Moore and Nigel Travel, I would stick around at 140.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there in terms of I do think there is most fighters in that division that Jack Catterall could beat. Stylistically, Jack Catterall gets a lot of flack with he's not the most entertaining fighter in the world, but I think, he's a nightmare to fight. Southpaw, kind of awkward, back foot counter puncher, deceptively heavy handed. He does kind of, it'll appear he punches a bit harder than his record suggests. So I think he could beat a lot of super lightweights. The only problem, and I hope this isn't the case now for Jack Catterall, is he'll be in that kind of who needs him club, high risk, low reward without a world title on the line. So I hope that's not the case. But just before we wrap up, quickly, as I say, give the winner his flowers. Looking like a world title fight next for Barboza. If it is Teofimo Lopez and the WBO, how would you see that going? Would you see Barboza dethroning Lopez there?
But you've always got to think Teofimo Lopez on his best day arguably beats everybody, but it's so irregular. You don't know what Teofimo Lopez we're going to get sometimes. Um, you know, Teofimo Lopez of late, does that version of Barbosa beat him? Maybe. I think he maybe does, to be honest. But the best version of Teofimo Lopez, if those days are behind him, that was obviously at 135 as well. You're kind of thinking, I haven't seen him look that good at 140 at all. Um, Oh, gun to my head, I'd probably still go Teofimo Lopez, to be honest. But equally, would not be surprised one bit if Arnold Barbosa and beat him.
Yeah, Teofimo is his own worst enemy, isn't he? Really, talent-wise, he has it all. But as you say, the version of Arnold Barboza we saw tonight, if Teofimo Lopez isn't at his best, could probably become the new world champion. He really could. So, yeah, time will tell. That's all we have time for on this one. It was great chatting with Paul, reacting to what we've just seen from the Co-op Arena in Manchester as Arnold Barboza has handed Jack Catterall only the second defeat of his career. Catterall falling at the final hurdle to a split decision against Barbosa in Manchester. And yeah, Barbosa looks like he's going to be on the verge of big, big fights now. So let us know what you think in the comments. What did you make of the fight? Importantly, how did you score it? Did you give the edge to Catterall or did you have it a draw? Let us know what you think. Could Barbosa become world champion? Get involved down below. And as always, don't forget, we'd really appreciate it if you could hit the like button on the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on all social media platforms. And yeah, Paul, it was a pleasure and speak again.
Pleasure as always, now, mate. Cheers.